Hi, my name is Aini Eli, and I'm a real estate investor.
I'm Leo Adam. I'm a real estate investor.
Today we're going to talk about Airbnb. So for years I hesitated because I thought it works like a hotel where every day at nighttime or early in the morning you have to go wash the bed sheets, clean the room, and flip every single day. And I thought that was very tiring. However, that's not the case. So tell me, how does Airbnb work?
Well, you can manage your check-in and check-out periods. You can block dates that you don't want check-outs or check-ins in that day. Let's say you don't want to work on Sunday, you can block out those days for check-ins and check-outs. So this way your guest knows before booking they cannot check in or check out on Sunday. So they have to accommodate their trip based on your needs, or they have to look for another property. And the period of their stay, you can arrange that too. You can say, I don't want guests shorter than 28 days, or I want them more than 1 month. You don't want too long, you can keep the window narrow and make it for only 3 months and not after that. And or you can make a setup like restriction of 40 days booking, so that's possible. And you can put some rules and passcodes and pins and everything automatic, like Wi-Fi details and everything, so you don't have to type every time somebody asks a question. And if you don't want to share your exact location before booking, you can give an estimate location where they can see the neighborhood or the amenities. Let's say you can give a place, an intersection of the road or a park 5 minutes away from your home, and you say we're close to here, and there are like markets, banks, restaurants there. So this way the guest knows where they're staying and if it's accessible and are there amenities. Or like they will book after they get a hint like that, and they can get an exact address after they book. And for the check-in instructions, you can always set up a check-in instruction rules and regulations. If you don't want to do that, you can hire someone. They will also be co-host with you, and that day, at that hour, they can come to the property. They will have their own keys, spare keys. They will have their own passcodes, so they can get your guest in and out and set up with the guest. You just rent the place, and you can outsource the other services like checking in, checking out process, welcoming the guests, or cleaning. Or you can make it automatic. You give a lockbox and you share the passcode, and they open the lockbox and they get a key from there. So sometimes you don't even need to see the guests. So it's all about the business mindset and setup.
Or you can use PIN codes, so you can just message them with a PIN code and then they can just check themselves in. And after they leave, you can reset them, or change the PIN numbers for the next guest. So that way you have some security protection. So in terms of short-term and long-term, you need to apply here in Ontario for a
especially
short-term license, and that goes to the city. If you're approved, you can rent it for short terms. If you're not approved, then you have to minimum lease it for 28 days. You can treat them like hotel guests, you can treat them like tenants. Either way, you can charge them for cleaning service, or you can actually ask them to clean themselves too, right? Because that way you're not being their maid because it's not technically a hotel, but it also runs like a higher level than a regular tenancy, but they're also special guests and also like little longer tenants.
When it comes to think about your investment, let's say you want some cash flow from your property, but you don't want to sign long-term contract with anyone. Maybe you just want to do 1 or 2 months, and also your house is on the market for sale. So for 2-3 months, while you're looking for your perfect potential buyer, you can have some cash flow in. This way, you don't have tenants for long term in case a buyer comes up and you don't need to evict someone. it's not also very short term, like shorter than 28 days. This way you can manage like day-to-day responsibilities. So once or twice a month you have to do check-in, check-out, and you can always hire somebody for that, a little bit over minimum wage. Property manager come work part-time for you. They might need an extra money or something, or a superintendent. You can go to online and find someone for this roles. Yeah, it's manageable. It's just details. You have to plan it. You don't have to do physically anything. You can hire people for that.
Mm-hmm. Providing you have a good team that you trust.
Yeah, of course, references and referrals are very important.
So when you get tenants, most of the time you won't see their profile, you won't really know who you're getting. They might send you a message as an introduction. You can ask them more questions. Illegally in Canada, you can ask them their ethnic background, but you can go ways around it, right? You can ask them what languages do they speak, you know, where have they visited before, and maybe kind of suss out where they're from. Because sometimes for security, you also don't want strangers, like weirdos. And you can ask them certain questions. And I think on the Airbnb side, they would kind of semi-screen them a little bit by asking for phone numbers, email address, and I don't know if they do identity verification.
Airbnb verifies IDs.
The tenants that
They ask for government photo ID.
Mm-hmm.
So if they cannot provide an ID to Airbnb, and their account won't be confirmed, so they won't even be able to book you. While Airbnb can do that, you cannot directly ask for ID before booking. You can ask ID once they're in front of the property to confirm their IDs, whether it's right guest who booked and who showed up. You can ask ID to confirm or you can ask them to open up their app and show their profile on their own phone screen. If you think they have the own profile on the app screen and the ID matches, after booking you can see their photo. This helps Airbnb to prevent racism. So this way people will not be rejected based on their color, gender, or nationality, or something else, or whatever is the reason. So this way discrimination is minimized. You can ask more questions, but not gender, not race, not religion or political views. You cannot reject someone based on this. It's against Airbnb community guidelines. Then you will have to stop using Airbnb for service.
Now, normally you can use your intuition to kind of like figure out whether the tenant is a good fit for your place, and it's based on the conversation they have. Most of the tenants, when they ask a lot of questions, do you have this, do you have that, we don't want this, sometimes they tend to be problematic tenants. You probably don't want to accept them because later on when they move in, they might demand other things. They might even, from their frequency energy, attract not so good omens and other bad fortunes, which I think you've known of an experience where someone just doesn't have that good vibe. And she was asking for a lot of questions. After she moved in, something bad actually did happen. And it kind of followed her until her term ended and she moved out. Then it was clear and everything was fine again.
Well, I believe it was spiritual energy a lot. Like before and after that guest, property was totally okay, no any incident. During that guest state, a lot of bugs appeared, and I guess the gas wasn't clean enough, so it would attract pests. And flood happened in Toronto. Even Drake's house was flooded, and that room was in the basement. So although we fixed it before, but there's no way to fix that amount of water just coming inside the house from every direction,
But only her room was damaged. The other guest room was fine.
Yeah, we had two rooms in that basement, The other room wasn't damaged that much. It was just a little bit
Just
wetness on the
impermeable.
floor. But that room was devastated, and that guest had a lot of clothes, electronics, cell phones, stuff on the floor. Like,
The room was furnished, but she just decided to sit on the
of
floor.
course, like how long can you
to
rent a room without
sleep.
furniture? Like we provided chairs and tables, but I guess some people attract bad things. Like it's a charm. So it depends. Like I don't know. Anyway, like not all the experiences are perfect, but 90% of experiences I had was quite good.
So with Airbnb, what is really beneficial, what is really great, is that you don't need to post it, you don't need to screen the tenants, not really, and you don't need to do the other tedious things as a owner will need to do to find a tenant. What do you like best about Airbnb in terms of like?
There's no posting every time. You just post once, and then you can rent it again and again as much as you want. And you can have vacant days or weeks or months whenever you want. And prices after each guest checkouts, you can change the price. So year round, it has advantage and disadvantage. It can be good at that.
It makes renting so much easier.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What about some disadvantages of Airbnb?
You don't see the person. You cannot screen it. Airbnb does it for you. So pretty much it's a surprise whether it turns out good or not. you kind of just draw something and you wish that it's the right number.
You hoping for the best and expect the worst, right? Yeah. So far I've had first time doing this, 2 tenants from Airbnb, and so far because I talk to them, we build kind of like good friendship. Things have been smooth and fine. Like communication is key, right? Make sure they're comfortable, they like the place, and they're seeing exactly how it is displayed in the picture. So there are no surprises for either one of us. And yeah, I just think constant checking in to see how they're doing. They've always like good friendship, and then they'll clean, they'll behave well, they'll get along well with the other tenants as well. So that to me is key, like that friendship.
Yeah, most of them are international travelers or intercities. They usually are nice, like 80% of them. It's good for them too. They don't have to commit for long term, and it's not very short term like a hotel or stuff. It's affordable for the guest too. So you're kind of giving a good service to people who are in need of that service. If you have an extra spare room, don't stop, rent it out, make some money and help someone to find the right place.
For sustainable housing, as well as there is a no vacancy tax, so beware Canadians. Another thing I want to point out in terms of Airbnb experiences, if you are actually a traveler, you get to stay at different places in the world of Airbnb rooms. You can see different towns, see how the room is decorated. Some of them have themes. I've seen one that has like a mermaid theme, and it's so pretty, right? Like sometimes you don't get to experience that in hotels unless you pay like an arm and a leg for that kind of beautiful decoration.
Yeah, each room is different. Some are very plain, some are very decorated. And if you have some budget, you're traveling, it's good to rent from Airbnbs to see different places. It's a fun adventure for a good price.
Yeah, and you meet people, which is a great experience.
Yeah.
So for more information about Airbnb, just be sure to follow us and get the details.
Thank you for listening to us.
Yes, thanks for watching, and tune in for the next one.